Thank you for clicking on this video. I said yesterday when I did my Marry Me video, which is up, you can go watch my thoughts on the movie Marry Me, that I was probably going to go see Cyrano today on Monday, and I did. I went and saw it. Um, and these are going to be my thoughts. To start with, I'm going to go with my experience in the theater because it's a very rare experience. Like sometimes in my life, because I go to see a lot of movies, I get the luck of the draw, and this is the experience I get. Today was one of those days, and it is that I was the only person that wanted to see this movie at this time at this theater. There was nobody else in the theater except me, so I just got to enjoy it. I got to really embrace it. The worst part of the entire experience was that I was next to the super screen, and Uncharted is real loud. That's what I got to say. Like during the quiet moments of this movie, which there's a lot of because it's a musical drama, um, all of a sudden you could just hear like the noise of Uncharted in the next theater. It yeah, that was the great that I got to see it by myself. That I got to experience this movie on a huge screen and really get drawn into it without the distraction of other people being in the theater. It was really nice. It was definitely worth the $10 I paid. Now, shifting into what I actually thought of the movie, um, I really liked it. This was a really good movie. Um, I don't know. I'm still kind of working through it and compressing what I watched. And it's been, I don't know, close to it's been a little bit because I drove home. I had to make a stop. I had to do a few things before I could sit down and record. But my brain is still kind of processing what I saw and how I felt about it in comparison to everything else I've watched that has come out this year. Now, Cyrano is one of those weird exception movies where technically it is a 2021 movie, but its wide release didn't happen until now. This last weekend was its wide release. It had a limited release in certain markets, and now it has its wide release, where it's probably, given the fact that I just checked the next showing of it as well, because the next showing starts as I'm recording this video. Um, it also looks like it. If somebody walks in and buys a ticket, they're going to be getting the same experience I did, which is sad because this was a really good movie and I really enjoyed it. And it's one I definitely go see again in theaters. I'm not going to get that opportunity to because I don't think it's going to hang out that long in Wisconsin, and I don't think I'm going to get that opportunity again. But it was really good. Um, I did. It's based on the story Cyrano de Bergerac. It's also based on a musical that was made in 2018. I was really curious if this musical was made strictly for the screen or if it was based on a stage musical. That's as much research as I did on the conception of this movie. Is that yes, it is based on a stage musical. Um, so yeah, it's the story of Cyrano de Bergerac, which originally the story was that Cyrano had a weird nose, but it was decided to cast Peter Dinklage as Cyrano, so the weird nose being the thing that made him stand out from a crowd and made people mock him seemed like a moot point when you cast Peter Dinklage, who's a great actor. He is amazing in this role. He steals the screen and he keeps it for the entire 2 hours. He is a great singer too. He plays Cyrano. Most people only know one scene of the story. Admittedly, I only knew one scene of this story as well going into it, and it is when Cyrano is whispering from to Christian what to say to a balcony where their love, Roxanne, is waiting. Basically, the movie is about Cyrano, who is in love with Roxanne. He is a great warrior. He's a great poet. He's a very eloquent man. The problem is he is not physically what at the time, anytime really, he is not what is considered physically beautiful. Again, in the original story, it's because he has a nose. In this one, it is because of his dwarfism. And they actually only use the word dwarf once. He is called a freak a couple of times, which is a great scene. Just because of Peter Dinklage's response, it seemed less acting and more a legitimate, like he was acting, but he was definitely pulling from personal experience that he's called a freak, and he just looks and goes, and like he's heard it before. He's not gonna be shaken to his core by having somebody say that he's a freak. And actually, one of his friends, who's also a soldier, begins to tell him why he doesn't think he's beautiful, and it's just a great moment of Cyrano going, "You better watch what you say," and he quickly finds other words to say it without saying that it's about his height. So it is that is what makes Cyrano feel self-conscious, why he doesn't go after the woman he loves, who is Roxanne. Roxanne is a woman of great beauty who is being courted by a duke. She herself has no money, but doesn't care about the duke's money. She wants love. She wants romance and love. She sees Christian at a play, who is also a soldier in the same regiment as Cyrano, and she falls madly in love with him at first sight, as does Christian with her. She tells this to Cyrano, who is very disappointed because he is in love with her, but can't bring himself to say it, to tell her, and he goes to tell Christian. He confronts Christian, tells him of her love, and he gets really happy, and then he says, hey, she wants Christian to write him a letter, to write her a letter. But Christian can't. He is not eloquent. He is not good with words, and he is not good with women and words. So Cyrano decides, you know what? I'll write the letters. I want Roxanne to be happy. You're who will make her happy. So I will write your letters. I will give you words, and you will give her the person she is in love with. So Cyrano sets out to write love letters to Roxanne. This, of course, wins Roxanne's heart. She falls madly more in love with Christian as the story progresses because of the letters, to the point where she wants to talk to him. He tries to go at his own, and it's a real great encounter of him trying to woo her on his own with his own words. So he ends up using Cyrano's words while Cyrano hides behind a wall. Eventually, Cyrano just starts talking, and it's a really interesting moment. I've always ever seen this one scene portrayed, and that is the scene where Cyrano is talking. Never have I seen the full context of the story. And if this is part of the full context of the story, this could be something done for the musical itself, is that it's not 100% sure if Roxanne fully isn't. She questions the change of voice because Christian starts talking and then Cyrano continues. She questions the change of voice, and you're never really certain if she doesn't know. If she doesn't know Cyrano's voice well enough because they are old friends, that she goes, that's Cyrano, and that she's not expecting Cyrano to come up and kiss her when they start talking about a kiss. She ends up, I just want to go through this entire story because I really like this story, but I feel like, I don't know, I want people to go see it, and if but at the same time, it's a classic story that you can just probably look up, and I'm sure it is very, I don't know. That's the thing. I didn't actually read a synopsis of the original story to know how much this thing deviates from this moment on. It might deviate a lot. It might not deviate at all. I don't know. I should have read a synopsis before I sat down to do this. I didn't. So I'm gonna shut up right there and not continue into the story and spoil a magnificent ending. One of my favorite moments of this movie is Cyrano is talking to his commanding officer about his love for Roxanne and how much, and that she will never love him when Roxanne's maid shows up and asks Cyrano to go to a private consult. This would inevitably where Roxanne tells Cyrano that she has fallen in love with Christian at first sight. But Cyrano, his captain, keeps trying to get him to think, well, maybe Roxanne has called upon you because she loves you, because you dueled a guy tonight, and she looked nervous that the dude was going to kill you. So she might love you, and she might finally be ready to tell you she loved you because she got nervous because you might have died. And Cyrano starts talking about hope, and that he can't hope because hope is hell, because of the fact that once you hope, if the hope doesn't turn out, then all you've done is you built this idea up, and then it gets smashed. Now you're in depression, you're in hell, which is exactly what happens. She says she loves Christian, and he is destroyed. He is in hell. I'd be a fool not to talk about the music, because this is a musical. This is very much a musical. They go right into the music, and I feel like the director, Joe Wright, really wanted to save as much of the original musical as possible, because there's a lot of music. For the 2 hours this movie runs, and a normal musical is about 2.5 with an intermission, I think he kept a lot of the music, all the music that he could, because there are some real short gaps between songs. And when it finally actually hits a long gap between two songs, I actually did go, oh right, this is a musical, because I was so in to what was happening in the story and the acting that I kind of just forgot it was a musical for a minute and that people were going to start singing. But it is some really good songs. I kind of want to get a copy of the soundtrack. I don't think it's out. I think you can download it, but I'm kind of still not with the times as far as streaming my music in my vehicle. Yeah, I like CDs. I'm old school. I like CDs. I'm Martin. I like CDs. But I don't think it's out yet. I tried looking for it, and the earliest date was... I found one thing comes out on March 4th. I could find a release date, and the CD said, oh, you can have it between March 12th and March 15th. So I'm like, does it actually come out on March 4th? Am I just early? Has it not officially released yet, so I can't, go, oh, I'll spend this much to buy it? Kind of the same thing with Studio 666. Maybe really want to listen to Foo Fighters. So I ended up buying the Foo Fighters' greatest hits instead. But yeah, definitely, Cyrano, it had really good music. Very catchy. It felt like listening to it, it tried both the Les Mis style of everyone singing live and a little bit of the looped style, which is you basically lip sync. Or I think probably everybody sang live, and then when there was bad audio, they just looped in a recording of the song, because some of it and it would change in a song. There's one where the Duke only has one song in this entire movie, and it is him going to confront Roxanne because he has sent her a letter saying, hey, you know what? I'm going off to war. I sent you a priest. If the priest stays when I get there, we'll get married, and then we're going to have sex. But if you send the priest away, we'll just have sex. Either way, we're having sex tonight. It is the crux of this letter that is sent, and so his song is him just basically saying that, why should he have to wait for what everyone else wants? Like, he wants Roxanne, why should he wait for her? Why does he have to wait when everyone else can just get what he wants? Especially with the implication that he's a duke. He's got power, he's got money. Why is he waiting? Why is he waiting for what he wants? And it switches in that song. Like, at one point, I think it's Ben Metalstein. I know that name. Or maybe it's Ben Metalhove. I recognize the name. I did recognize the name of the guy who played the Duke when the credits rolled. I just assumed he played the Duke. If it's the actor I'm thinking of, he played the Duke. Unfortunately, this movie takes place... I'm not exactly sure what century, but all the royalty is wearing white makeup, the rouge on their cheeks, the wigs. I believe it's French. I believe this movie takes place in France. I'm assuming France. It actually never states it anywhere in the movie, and they're all speaking English. And no one's using accents. So it's hard. Like, I'm pretty sure it's French, though. It looks Frenchy. Oh, God, the rails have lost this review. Anyways, it's very obvious, like, when he first starts singing, it sounds real good, and it definitely sounds like it's looped music. But then as then it cuts shots, and now it's him, and you can hear it, and there's a little more ambiance to the music. Basically, like the sounds of the area they were filming, getting into the musical score because he was singing live. That happens a couple of times throughout the movie. There are very few songs that aren't sang by one of the main cast members, either in whole. Most of the time anyone else sings, it's only in part. There's only one song that I remember in the entire movie that is not sang by any main cast member, and it's about writing letters home from war. It is a really interesting movie. A little weird ending, but again, I don't know the ending of Cyrano de Bergerac, the actual story, so it could be the ending from the story. I thought it was a little weird. There's a time jump of 3 years, so that struck me as a little weird. But a great closing line. Just a great closing line. It hit me. It hit me hard. I didn't cry, but it hit me hard. I really like Cyrano de Bergerac. I'm not sure I want to say it's the best movie I've seen in 2022, in the first 2 months of this year. I don't want to say that, because if I'm going like that came out this year, it still might not be, because I still really like Death on a Nile. If we're going that I've just seen since the clickover, Nightmare Alley would also be up there. But it's up there. It's up there as one of my... I really liked it. I really liked Cyrano. I thought it was very well done. And I thought all the actors were really good. But Peter Dinklage was outstanding. Like, seriously. That man needs to act in way more roles. I get it. I'm not a Game of Thrones fan, so I missed out on his tremendous acting in that show, because I watched the first season and he was the only character that lived through that season that I wanted to see more of. So I didn't watch anymore, because there was only one character out of the entire show that I wanted to see more of. And I knew I could see more of Peter Dinklage, because he regularly does other things. But yeah, he's just great. He's great in this movie. If you haven't seen it, probably haven't seen it, check it out if you have the time. Or I guess grab it when it starts streaming, or buy a copy, rent a copy, check out this movie. It is worth seeing. I really enjoyed Cyrano. Like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Let me know if you've seen Cyrano. Let me know what you thought. Otherwise, I will talk at y'all later. Have a good one.